You're very different in the policies that you've supported in the past. You're considered the most liberal United States senator.
Somebody said that, and it actually was Mike Pence on the debate stage. But
yeah, well, actually, the nonpartisan GovTrack.
There she goes again, laughing. It's so funny. It was Mike Pence on the debate stage. Let's hear the quote that you were talking about.
What I will do, and I promise you this, and this is what Joe wants me to do, this was part of our deal. I will always share with him my lived experience as it relates to any issue that we confront. And I promised Joe that I will give him that perspective and always be honest with him.
And is that a socialist or progressive perspective?
Good question.
No. No, it is the perspective of a woman who grew up a black child in America, who was also a prosecutor, who also has a mother who arrived here at the age of 19 from India, who...
Boy, that voice is just like fingers on a chalkboard, isn't it? It is such a grating sound. Well, I'll tell you, so meanwhile, you've got Kamala, or Kamala, excuse me, or however you say it, running
That's how
around
I remember
the country.
Kamala. Like
Kamala. Okay. I like Kamala better because it sounds like she's bad. But anyway, she's running around the country trying to fill in for Joe Biden, because when you do let Joe Biden actually speak, I mean, it's usually a disaster. In fact, just yesterday, we'll see if we can get this to work. Goodness gracious, what's up with the internet today here in the studio? If we can get this to work, just yesterday he was remarking about how he's running against George Bush.
This is the most consequential, not because I'm running, but because who I'm running against. This is the most consequential election in a long, long, long time. And the character of the country, in my view, is literally on the ballot. What kind of country we're going to be. 4 more years of Georgia, is going to find ourselves in a position where if Trump gets elected, we're going to be in a different world. And so
that's why it's so consequential, is because it's time travel.
This is the first election featuring time travel. So we're actually going back to the George Bush years. And for those of us that remember those years, and it seems like people's memories have gotten radically shorter recently, but, they were treating George W. Bush very similar to the way that they were treating Donald Trump. They are treating Donald Trump. They're saying it's essentially the end of the world if he was to get reelected. He's the worst president ever. He's committed war crimes, et cetera, et cetera. And it's the same kind of tone that they're using to describe Donald Trump, and they're trying to make it's this catastrophism. They're trying to make it something like this is the end of the world if you go and you vote for Donald Trump. It's going to be catastrophic. This is the end of America. You heard Kamala Harris saying it. This is about, the future of our country. This is about, you heard Biden saying it, this is about the character of the country. I mean, all of these things are just overstatements as to what's really going on here. And, speaking of Biden having issues, I mean, this is what I would call a Freudian slip that he made recently, where he talked about having the most extensive voter fraud organization in election history. And I don't think that's untrue. I bet you that's completely true. I think that's exactly what the Democrats are trying to do in this election. But let's hear it from the big guy himself.
secondly, we're in a situation where we have put together, and you guys did it for our administration, the President Obama's administration before this. We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
Wow. You know what? That's what's called a Freudian slip. He's got it on his mind. He's telling you the truth for once, accidentally, but he's telling you the truth. When he gets the opportunity to do what he means to do, when he does it intentionally, like on the debate stage, that's where he'll lie to you. He'll say he doesn't want to ban fracking. That's not true. He'll challenge the president, put it up on your website. Well, the president puts it right up on the website. By the end of the debate, all of the instances where Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have both said that they want to ban fracking and fossil fuels, that they want to phase them out, they want to get rid of them. You know, Kamala Harris was one of the co-sponsors of the Green New Deal. And the whole point of the Green New Deal is they want to totally get rid of fossil fuels in the next, 10 or 15 years as part of their plan, which is, it's not only is it insane, but it's completely impossible. It cannot be done. And they'll destroy this economy. They'll destroy the country. All of our economy, all of our food production is based on the internal combustion engine. Our entire economy is based on fossil fuels to create the energy to run the machines and things that we like to have in our lives, including most of our cars. And you say, well, what about electric cars? Well, where do you think the electricity comes from? The electricity comes from these big coal-fired power plants. Okay, we're not generating electricity through solar panels in sufficient volume, which are highly inefficient. We're not generating enough electricity through solar panels to power everything. Or wind. We heard that, wind. Oh, you just don't know about wind. Well, wind has a whole host of problems. All of these supposedly natural ways to generate electricity are highly inefficient, which means they really don't produce that much power relative to the capital investment that we have to make to set up these structures to try and gather that electricity, that power from the environment. There's a huge enthusiasm gap. If you've been watching any of the rallies that have been happening, you've seen the gap with your own eyes. And from listening to Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, you can certainly understand why. Thank you for listening to the Morgan Streetman Show. We hope you enjoyed what you heard. And if you did, please click like and subscribe to help us out. And remember that we recommend that you exercise your brain at least once a week.